Okay, so good morning, everybody. What are we going to do today? Well, today I want us to have a quick look at this Nespresso Expert Milk, which is made by Krups. So I was given this for Christmas, or my wife and I, Mrs. T and I, excuse me, were given this for Christmas. And well, I thought this is an excellent opportunity to unpack it, show you what's inside, and hopefully show you how really good it is, because this is all new to me. So I'm sure it'll be all new to you if you're looking at this or thinking about getting it, or even have it and don't really know what you're doing with it. So let's have a look, shall we? Let's unpack it and see what is inside the box. Now then, the first thing you notice when you open the box is the quality of the packaging. Now, I know that there's a lot of controversy at the moment over quality of packaging and quantity and how much packaging is used on various products, but the quality of the packaging on this is very good. You do have some of that nasty old polystyrene, which is no good to man nor beast, but the rest of it seems to be cardboard. And obviously cardboard is recyclable, so that's a good bonus. And you can see now all the bits and the components there for the Nespresso machine. So I'm going to unpack them and lay them out on the side, and then we can have a look to see what we have. Okay, so here we are. Everything is unpacked. There's the box, now empty, and this is everything that was inside that cardboard box. So I'm going to go through with you just as a quick breakdown so you know what to expect. First of all, the paperwork. Here's the paperwork that came with it. First of all, here you have, this is the international guarantee card. And then on this one, you have the declaration of EU conformity. So it's all legal, all above board. So you've got all the sort of professional paperwork here. Then you've got Nespresso, the beginning of something great. Now this really is just a little booklet that shows you all the different types of coffees that you can get, what you can do with them, and how you can explore them, and all the various other little things that you need to know about additional sales really for Nespresso, where you can find the coffee capsules, where you can buy spare parts and additional bits and pieces. So well worth having a look through. Make your first coffee, then sit down and read it. The next one is Let's Have Coffee Together. Very similar to the other one, but a little bit more in detail. It goes on to tell you about all the different coffee machines, what the different parts do, again, the different types of coffee that's on offer, and then some general information about coffee and espresso and other things. So if you are a bit of a coffee fanatic and you are genuinely interested, again, make yourself a second cup of coffee and sit down and read that. Then we've got this one. This is your instruction manual. Now, do we read it or do we just go for it? Let's read it because I think it's important. I will read through it and have a look, obviously, before I start to put it together and make coffee. But it's in various different languages. So don't be put off because it's a big, thick document. There is a section in there, obviously, that's in English because I'm English. But if you're Dutch or German or Italian, you have everything there that you'll need. But read it, go through it before you start to make your coffee, so you know you're going to get the best results ever. And then what else have we got? We've got the coffee making machine. There you go. That's the machine. Looking very sleek, very black, very silver. There it is. And then we have the water tank. That's the water tank that comes with it. And we'll look at that again shortly. Then we have something which they officially call the milk frother. So that's your frother. So if you like frothy coffee, that's your milk frother. Then here you've got a height adjuster. So your coffee cup goes underneath here, sits on there, and that's where the coffee comes out. If you've got a tiny espresso coffee, rather than having your cup down here and having it come down here and drip and spray, you can actually place that on there, and then you can put your smaller cup on the top. So it's bringing it up closer to that filter. This is also magnetic, so that won't move around too freely, and that's nice and secure on there. So that comes with it, that's in the kit. And then we've got a selection of the coffees. So I suppose this is the introduction really of all the different types of coffees they do, the level of strength, and all the types and flavours. So this is just a welcome pack that we will kick off with today, just doing some of our experiments. So what I'm going to do, I am now going to have a flick through here, have a look at how to set the machine up, and then when I've set it up and I know what I'm doing, I will come back to you and we can see if we can make our first cup of coffee using our Nespresso Expert and milk. So give me a few minutes and I'll come back to you shortly. Right, I seem to be up to speed with what I'm doing, so here goes. The first thing it's telling us to do is to technically or basically clean it. So that is run some water through it before we start. So what I've got here is I've got the water tank, and I'm going to pop the water tank onto the machine so that clicks in there nicely. It's then telling us to switch it on. So here's the button on the top. So let's turn that button on. As you can see, that's lit up. We've got a few other things that have lit up on the front here. And it's telling us to put a cup or container underneath here and then switch it on and basically have a go. So I've got a coffee cup with me. This doesn't come with it. This is a coffee cup that I already owned. It's telling us to put it on this setting, which is the Lungo setting, which is there. And then switch on, and hopefully something should happen. So what I think is happening now is water's going through the system. There you go. And you can see it's flushing the water out. So it's putting the water through the system, giving it a good clean through. And that is coming out pretty hot. Just touch that. Yeah, you can feel that that is hot water. And it's telling us to do that 3 times. So that's the first time. That's the second time. I'll just hit the button on the top again. And there we go. So the third amount of water's coming through. You can actually see the water's gone down in that tank as well. So it's draining it from there. Okay. And then we're going to go for the third attempt. Oh, I think it resets itself after a while. There we go. And the third attempt, hit the button. And there's the third amount of water coming out as well. So that should now be well and truly flushed through and cleaned, ready for use. So I'm going to read the next part of the instructions and I'll come back to you again in a second. Right, I think I'm well and truly up to speed with what I'm doing, so I'm going to give it a try. Now the first thing I need to show you is this is the milk jug. If you look inside there, you can actually see some marks there for levels. Now what they're suggesting is you don't overfill that jug. You've got a little whisk in the bottom there, because if you do, it's going to froth up over the top. So I'm just going to put some milk into the bottom level first, because I'm only doing 1 cup and that's for me. And then, well, we'll give that a try. Let me just pop that milk in there first. So you can see the milk in there. You can see a little black thing sticking out the top of that milk. That's the whisk. So that's part of the frothing up process that goes on. So then all we need to do is pop the lid on top of that, make that secure. Then I think we need to take this and pop this on the machine, like so. Let's turn the machine on. Let's hit that button again. And I think it will start to warm up. And then I think we're ready. There we go. Warming up. So I think we're there. So, what are we going to do first? Well, I've got one of my little cups I had earlier. I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to open the slider at the top, which is here. And that is where you put your coffee pod. So here's my coffee pod. I'm going to use quite a strong coffee. This is an Indian coffee. I'm a strong coffee type of person. So you pop that pod in there and then slide the slider back over the top. And then I think we're ready. So I'm going to go for a large cup of coffee. So I've gone for the larger grade there. And now I think all I have to do is hit the button and it should start. So I think it warms up, make sure everything's in place. And then, there we go. We should now start to see some coffee coming through the system. There we go. There is our first cup of coffee on our Nespresso. Now, that doesn't look like much to me. So whether or not I've done something wrong, I will check the instructions on that just to find out. Whether I need to do anything on here, I'm not sure, but we'll look into that in a minute. Okay, I'm going to go back on pause and then just look into why that has just given me just basically a dollop of coffee. Okay, so I know where I went wrong. You can and you should program the amount of water or the water volume you want for each type of coffee. So if it's for a espresso or a lungo or an americano, you can actually pre-program the volume that goes through the system to make your desired cup of coffee. That part of the instructions I missed. So if you missed them, they're on page 22 of the instructions, and I would say well worth looking at before you make your first coffee. So here it goes. I'm going to make my first coffee now. Okay, so I've got a capsule in the top. I've got the water set for really hot, and I've got it on the American or the Americano symbol. I've got a big coffee cup underneath. I'm going to hit the button, and that should now make me a rather decent size Americano. Looking good. Looking good. And you can obviously see by the time on the video as well how long this is going to take to make you that coffee. So I suppose if you set it all up in the morning, you can just come downstairs, hit the button, and off you go. So there you go. That's the first bit of water that's gone in, and then it just tops it up with some more hot water to the level that I want it in my coffee cup. So you can still hot water, still going into that Americano, and then it will stop at the predetermined level that I have set, which should be just about now, I think. There we go. That's it. I have an Americano. But we're not going to stop there because I want to try the frothy coffee version. So, as I showed you earlier, I've got the milk in there. That's on the stand. There's a button on the front here, if you see it. And apparently, the story goes, I hit that button and it comes on, and that should now froth up my coffee. Don't know if you can actually see what's going on in there. I think that whisk is frothing it up. I think it heats it and whisks it. Don't forget, I just put the milk in there on the lowest level. I think this all looks a bit of faff, but once you've got used to it, I think this is going to be quite good. You'll be able to whip through this within about 30 seconds, 45 seconds in the morning when you want a coffee, and everything will be good. So that's whisking that up. It says it will take 60 to 80 seconds to do it, so it's not a long time. Whisking that, making that nice and frothy. You can see what's going on in there. And I suppose really you should be whisking and making that frothy while the coffee's making as well. So you're not waiting for one to finish after the other. They could both be doing it at the same time. I don't know if that gets warm. No, it doesn't feel warm. There you go. Now, that should be frothy coffee. So, I take the coffee cup, I place it there. I'll take the jug, or the milk jug off there, take the lid off it, and I'm going to pour my frothy coffee, or my frothy milk, look at that, into Sorry I didn't do any shapes on the top of it, but there you go. That is a frothy coffee. I'm just going to try that, so bear with me. Yeah, that's good. That's really, really good. I like that. I like that a lot. So there you go. There is how to use an espresso expert milk with frothy milk on the top. Now this is skimmed milk that I've used here. So I suppose you could call that a skinny latte or whatever you want to call it. Still plenty of milk in there. So I think we would have got 2 cups out of that. And that's just by putting it on the lower maximum. There's the different coffees, which I'm going to study. There's the books, which I'm going to study. There's the box. There's the machine. Look, if you're interested and you want one, I hope that has helped. I really do. If you found that of interest, please, please, please give me a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. Hit that red button. See what I did there? And subscribe, because the more you subscribe, the more of these little things that we can bring you. Just everyday things that people like you, like me, and all our friends and family use on a regular basis. There's nothing super special about this. More of these are going into people's homes. So I think it's well worth we have a look just to see what happens. Check out the manual as well. There's more in that manual than I've spoken to you about. It talks about descaling your coffee machine, so you're maintaining it and keeping it at a good level. The maintenance and some troubleshooting. Look, that's it for now. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And, well, bye for now. I'm going to drink my coffee.